Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Let's talk about whether deterrence failed in May 2025 crisis or not, because हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा literature पढ़ते हैं, उसके अंदर jury is still divided. Indians and Pakistani scholars, even Western scholars जिन्होंने लिखा है, कुछ कहते हैं deterrence fail नहीं हुई, कुछ कहते हैं deterrence fail हुई है. So I would like to talk to you today about, whether deterrence failed in South Asia. And what are some of the lessons from the May 2025 crisis? So most people think that deterrence means one thing, right? अगर nuclear weapons exist करते हैं तो जंग नहीं हो सकती. But South Asia keeps proving this assumption wrong. हमने देखा Kargil happened, 2001, 2002 का military standoff happened, Mumbai happened, Pulwama Balakot happened, and then May 2025 India-Pakistan crisis happened. So अगर deterrence exist करती है तो फिर crisis क्यों होते हैं? इसका एक सिंपल सा आंसर है कि deterrence जो है वो disappear नहीं हुई, deterrence अभी तक breakdown नहीं हुई इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान के दरमियान, but deterrence evolve हुई है. So मैं आज आपके साथ 5 lessons share करना चाहती हूँ May 2025 crisis से that explain and what they tell us about the future of strategic stability in our region. So the first lesson is that deterrence is now multi-domain. Traditionally, deterrence को हमेशा से एक military concept के तौर पे देखा गया है कि troops move करते हैं, missiles deploy होते हैं, aircraft cross करते हैं borders, and escalation was imagined as a ladder, one step leading to another. Lekin May 2025 crisis looked a bit different. Military actions occurred alongside drones the, media narratives the, cyber activity thi, diplomatic signaling thi, public pressure tha, and information warfare bhi. So military strike generated political reactions. Political reactions then generated media claims. And public pressure हमने देखा किस तरह constrain करते हैं leaders को. So in other words, escalation no longer only just resembles a ladder, it resembles a web. And everything in that web is connected. The battlefield is no longer only physical. It is also informational, it is political, it is diplomatic, it is cyber, it is psychological at the same time. जो second lesson है वो ये है कि limited war under the nuclear shadow is a very, very dangerous illusion. A common assumption in South Asia is that nuclear weapons prevent करते हैं major wars को while allowing limited conflict. लेकिन history suggests otherwise, right? हमने देखा कि 1998 में कारगिल, फिर 2001, 2002 Twin Peak crisis हुआ, Mumbai, Pulwama, Balakot, and then May 2025. Nuclear weapons may have prevented full-scale war, but they do not prevent crises. The challenge is that एक दफा multiple domains become active simultaneously, then escalation को control करना बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है. Missiles हैं, air operations हैं, drones हैं, cyber tools हैं, public statements हैं, media narratives हैं. All of them interact with one another. And the belief कि कोई भी leader precisely calibrate कर सकता है escalation को is often more optimistic than realistic, because crises जो है वो rarely unfold होते हैं according to the script of policymakers' imagination. The third lesson I want to share is the geography of risk has expanded. So for decades, South Asia में crises were heavily associated with Kashmir and the line of control, but we have seen this is no longer the case. Today, long-range precision strikes, drones, cyber operations, space-based surveillance, and maritime capabilities, they have expanded the geography of competition. And आज crisis जो है, it no longer only involves targets, but also targets that are far beyond traditional front lines. So location जो है वो matter करती है, not only because physical damage होता है, but because of perception. So अगर एक strike होती है nearby sensitive military installations, then it may be interpreted differently than the strike somewhere else. Drone जो है वो शायद surveillance के लिए भेजा गया हो, लेकिन उसको आपके adversary perceive कर सकते हैं as a preparation for an attack. इसी तरह cyber intrusion है, it may be interpreted as beginning of a larger campaign. So in nuclear environments where perception can be more dangerous than the capability itself. And that is what adds to the fragility of strategic stability. The fourth lesson is that technology is compressing decision time. Emerging technologies are changing the speed of the crisis. Drones, artificial intelligence, cyber operations, satellite imagery, open source intelligence है, फिर electronic warfare है. These technologies are simply not adding new tools. They are also changing कि competition जो है adversaries के दरमियान उसका tempo कैसे change हो रहा है. So leaders now face pressures to make decisions that are faster than ever before. And faster decisions do not always mean better decisions. Danger क्या होता है? Technological failure का, danger होता है misinterpretation का. A missile can be conveniently armed, yet it can generate, nuclear anxieties अगर वो conventional भी हो तो. A cyber operation may be reversible, yet it can be, perceived as a strategic attack. A drone may be small, लेकिन उसके psychological effects बहुत बड़े हो सकते हैं. So this is where conventional and nuclear systems become entangled. And once that happens, escalation becomes extremely harder to control. The fifth lesson is the information battle space जो है, that matters as much as the physical battle space. So perhaps the most important lesson from May 2025 crisis is the growing power of the narratives. Today, information is part of battle space. You say leda nahi hai. Misinformation, disinformation, premature claims, deep fakes, synthetic media, algorithmic amplification. All of this can shape decision making during the crisis. So leaders are no longer just responding only to military developments. वो रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हैं पब्लिक एक्सपेक्टेशन को भी, वायरल कंटेंट को भी और रेपुटेशनल प्रेशर्स को भी. Sometimes governments become trapped by the narratives they create, and इसको कहते हैं narrative entrapment. So the more publicly a leader commits to a position, the harder it becomes for them कि वो step back करें without appearing weak. In the past, हमने देखा कि fog of war emerged from uncertainty. And in the future, fog of war can be engineered, it can be manufactured. The challenge today is no longer simply कि जंग रोकनी है या उसको prevent करना है. It is also managing escalation across multiple domains, managing perceptions, managing compressed decision-making times, managing information disorder, and managing emerging technologies जो increasingly blur कर रही हैं lines between conventional and nuclear competition. So the lesson from May 2025 crisis is not that deterrence failed. The lesson is that deterrence अब operate करती है एक बहुत ही complex environment में जहाँ पे theories जो है वो सिर्फ past को anticipate कर सकती हैं, interpret कर सकती हैं, future को predict नहीं कर सकती. And if policymakers fail to adapt to this reality, then next crisis may move faster than anyone expects. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, do subscribe to MindoverMic, जहां हम कोशिश करते हैं कि simplify करें complex strategic issues को and make them more accessible to everybody. आपको अगर कोई ऐसे टॉपिक्स हैं जो आपको अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं डेवलप हो पा रही, अब मुश्किल टॉपिक्स हैं, तो प्लीज़ डू राइट टू मी इन द कमेंट्स एंड उसके ऊपर भी हम वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग करेंगे और कुछ लाइव सेशंस भी अरेंज करेंगे. थैंक यू.